I'm Trina, and I'm an addict.
Hi, Trina.
And I am praying in a loving God because I'm nervous right now. And the reason is because this isn't just my message. This is about Tradition 1, and it's important. And so I learned from my guitar teacher that when I get really nervous, it's because I care about something, and I do. And so even when I began to listen to speakers, circuit speakers yesterday about Tradition 1, they still had a hard time articulating this. A lot of them did, and they came in pairs to explain it. So there's nothing I could say, and I don't know why I kind of felt bad about cheating that could be as important as what the basic text says. Tradition 1, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends on NA unity. Our first tradition concerns unity and our common welfare. I maybe should have said that my topic is love. And I'm so grateful. I don't know if that was just an accident that happened, but I love, and my sponsor loves. And so, and I don't know, when the disease had, blocked me off from Creator, I just couldn't feel love anymore. And your love, is what gave me the confidence to get up here and even attempt to do this. So one of the most important things about our new way of life is being a part of a group of addicts seeking recovery. Our survival is directly related to the survival of the group and the fellowship. To maintain unity with Narcotics Anonymous, it is imperative that the group remains stable or the entire fellowship perishes and the individual dies. And so the BOS, so if anybody doesn't know who that is, so I describe him as the visionary that you hear about. I think they're making a movie now, or at least writing a book about it, about how our predecessors, the old timers of Narcotics Anonymous, sold their washers and their dryers and to follow him, to write the literature. And so I called him yesterday, and I'm shocked that he calls me back. And so I want to give props to Cindy because I'm so lucky. We're so lucky. She's my grand sponsor, and she says you can't write anything down when you speak, because if you do, then it becomes your will. It's no longer God's will. So it gives me a free for all to get up here because I can't write anything down, right? But I wrote this down because one of the first things he said was, love is the habitual identification with another soul or human being. I said, oh, I got to write that down. And so love is the habitual identification with another soul or human being. And so he said then, and I don't know why I'm embarrassed that I can't articulate this, because John W. from the other program said literally the same thing. And it's just still hard, but I'll just say it, that and he said using the word important was okay, John did, that the group is more important than the individual member of Narcotics Anonymous, because the individual will die without the group. And so only from Bo, literally, yesterday saying that, and John saying that this morning, did I understand that. I think that it was Bo yesterday that said to, or maybe it was Lane last night, bringing me to Lane. Lane said, no, why are you getting a pen? And I said, can I want to write that down? What do you think I'm doing? Stealing your material? And he goes, maybe. He came off the couch. But he said, anything that is worth anything, we practice. For example, like piano, we practice what we're doing, things that we care about. And he was talking about practicing unity. And so now this is when my experience comes in. And I was shocked. Another thing, I know I just skipped around and did the Trina squirrel thing, but I was shocked. I got on Marco Polo. I turned to Marco Polo to a group called 6 Soulful Friends yesterday morning. And I thought, well, if I just put a little bit of effort into making myself vulnerable, because on that is people, Cindy is one of them, with 30, 40 years clean on that. 6 people with 31, sorry. Okay. So there's a lot of recovery on there. And so at the end of what I asked him, which was the question, he said, that's perfect to say exactly what you just said on there. I'm like, what? And so this is my experience with unity. And because I had not worked the traditions and I had really no no experience with the traditions until the pandemic hit, and San Diego quarantine had a step and tradition meeting every single weekend, and I would sit and listen to those meetings over and over and over again, because we've been through them a few times. But I was at the New Year's Eve, I believe, if I get anything wrong, you guys will remember more. It was the New Year's Eve event, and Daniel was speaking, and I cannot recall if Jack was still alive or not, but he was definitely his sponsor. And so Daniel was describing how he had started to slack on meditation in the morning, spending that much time. And again, the pandemic had not hit. I might have had 3 years. I only have my own experience, and we had not worked the traditions. We had not put pen to paper on traditions. We hadn't even started it. I was still on Men and Money, dude. And so I'd gotten through the first set of steps on drugs and realized the only thing missing was the dope, because I would have to work the steps on Men and Money a while. I had not come to the tradition. So Daniel said what he started doing is in the morning, opening his book, which I had bought, this book, the Guiding Principles, and I think he just let God pick it and found a word and then meditated about it in the morning, and his life began to change again and start to get good. And so I thought, well, I can do that, and so that was the first word that came up, was unity. That's what higher power directed me to see. And again, my topic is love, but I love Narcotics Anonymous, and this is what happened to me, man. This is my experience. That's all I have to share. And so, and why do I'm going to jump back for a minute, because Sammy blew me away again. This is, again, another time where the love that we share, the disease could not do it. And when I turned to her yesterday and told her the disease is telling me right now that my sponsor never worked the steps with me. I mean, the traditions, like my sponsor wants me to believe right now that I tried to work the traditions last year. I have to speak on this tomorrow. And it's not true. Everything the disease tries to tell me anytime that it comes between Sammy and I, it's not true, because she loves me and I love her, and that's my sponsor. So it cannot do that. And so she's the last person that I listened to about the tradition this morning. And so the whole time she's saying that she doesn't think, she doesn't know. And it was the best share that I got, better than Bo. Like, I got more out of it. And what she did is she read started to read here a minute ago. And it says, it wasn't until we came to Narcotics Anonymous that recovery became possible. This program could do for us what we could not do for ourselves. We became part of a group and found that we could recover. We learned that those who did not continue to be an active part of the fellowship faced a rough road. Cindy says that all the time. The individual is precious to the group, and the group is precious to the individual. We never experienced the kind of attention and personal care that we found in the program. And so even the addicts didn't want to let me come over anymore, because I'm that junkie. And Phyllis welcomed me to Noon Miracle. And Cindy picked me up, it'd been a long time since I had any kind of kindness, And so we are accepted and loved for who we are, not in spite of who we are. No one can revoke our membership or make us do anything that we do not choose to do. We follow this way of life by example rather than by direction. We share our experience and learn from each other. In our addiction, we consistently placed our personal desires before anything else. In Narcotics Anonymous, we find that what is best for the group is usually good for us. So 2 things about that. Even though Phyllis welcomed me, and Cindy, of course, I've just known her since prison, and so she was being kind. It wasn't until I had 1 year clean. I think Rob shared this one time too, because I just thought it was only me that sat in the meetings thinking everybody hated me. Like, every single person around the table I thought hated me. I was hating on them. It didn't matter how much I liked them or anything. My ego, which I've learned that's what it was, would sit there and pick you apart, and that I was either better than, just something like that. And then at 1 year clean, when everybody shared what they felt about me, I just couldn't believe everyone liked me. I felt like Sally Field. Most people are probably too young in here to remember when Sally Field got the award. And she went, "You like me? You really like me?" And so not until I had 1 year clean. And so that's what like when I sit in a room with newcomers or even with people that have some time, I think it's safe to assume there's other people that feel like I did, that are sitting there thinking that you hate me and I fucking hate you too. But then, and so with that being said, where it said we placed our personal desires before we consistently placed our personal desires before anything else, that sums up my entire life. Like, it is all me, all the fucking time. And I have to work really hard to stay out of selfishness. And for the first time ever, because of the love